Gee, it's dark down here.
Shh! Did you see something over there?
Nope, I didn't see nothing.
Wait. Shine the light over here. Yeah, I kind of thought that looked like a computer game.
What is it?
I'll be darned. It's The Legend of Skullkeep, the sequel to Dungeon Master. Let's get out of this hole and take a look at it.
What kind of game is this anyway?
It's a first-person role-playing game. In it, you play Torum Zed, a young soldier charged with stopping the evil forces arising within the long-abandoned Skullkeep.
Did J.R.R. Tolkien write this story?
Very funny. In Skullkeep, you control a party of up to 4 characters. Gameplay's pretty traditional for an RPG. You kill monsters and you collect treasure, gaining in skill and buying new equipment to build your team of adventurers up to the point where they're ready to tackle the game's ultimate bad guy. One thing lacking in this game is any kind of character development at all. Your characters have names and that's about it, so don't plan to be captivated by the story. That's not to say that Skullkeep isn't involving, however. When your best magic user dies, just as you're finally about to get the key that will let you into the next area of the game, and you have to spend 30 minutes trekking back to the altar of life to resurrect him, and you really ought to go to bed for about an hour ago, you know the game is fun. That's really its strongest point. For a game that plays not too differently than Bard's Tale, Skullkeep is really entertaining.
Whoa, what are those?
Dragons. These are the critters that you encounter at the very end of the first Dungeon Master. You'll run into them within about 30 minutes of the beginning of this game. Dozens of them. This convinced me that Skullkeep is a game in which you'll die pretty often, and I was right. Fortunately, there's an altar of life easily accessible in the town where you start, and you get a VIP pass. Skullkeep uses the same interface as the original Dungeon Master, with a few enhancements. For example, you can open up a container such as a bag or a chest, and take stuff out of it or put it in while it's on the ground. There's also a new item that lets you collect all your money in one place.
Wow, that's a lot of gold. Will your money box hold all that?
Yep. Unfortunately, though, I'll have to pick it up and put it in the box 1 coin at a time. One of the features they didn't add to the interface was the ability to move piles of objects with a single mouse click.
Gee, that's too bad. Didn't Ultima Underworld let you move multiple gold pieces at once?
Yeah, and it came out in like 1992 or something. This is one of the most disappointing things about this game. The interface is slavishly loyal to its predecessor. There were plenty of improvements we've seen in games released since the original that could have been included, but weren't. And that's a shame. Of course, you need to be able to handle lots of money because there's a lot more going on in Skullkeep that involves cash. No more simply scrounging up a gold coin to put in a coin slot. The town where you begin features 4 different stores selling weapons, armor, clothing, and general goods such as food.
I like the way you can haggle with the shopkeepers. A display window shows you how much you have to pay for an item and how much they'll buy the item from you for. To buy an item, you put up a pile of money on your side of the table, and the shopkeeper will either shake his head no, nod yes, or look pensive and say, If you're clever, you can usually get an item for way less than it's listed for.
I like the fact that you can trade items as well. If you want to upgrade your sword, for example, you can put it on a table with a pile of gold in exchange for, say, a saber. This is definitely one of the most fun haggling systems I've ever seen in an RPG, although I wish the shopkeepers would make their minds up quicker.
Is that the automap?
Yeah.
Where's the rest of it?
That's it. 49 squares of Cartesian splendor. Worse, the stupid thing rotates as you change orientation, so it's nigh impossible to keep your bearings straight. Oh, and it costs mana to use. Of course, as you progress through the game, you do get upgraded mapping items that have special abilities, like the Scout Map, which lets you send a remote eye out to explore. Unfortunately, although it can see 3 squares away, even through walls and into places you haven't been yet, it doesn't keep track of the parts of the game where you have been.
Bummer.
The game's press release made a big deal over its outdoor locations and environmental effects. To tell the truth, this isn't all that amazing. Outdoors works exactly like indoors, only you have trees and dirt instead of walls and floor. The weather effects are neat, but they don't really have much effect beyond making it harder for you to see.
Oh, there's an improvement. You can get rained on.
Yeah, and it isn't like visibility's all that great to begin with.
Why is it always night?
I'm sure it isn't supposed to be that way, but it sure looks like it is. The palette's so dark in this game, even with the brightness on my monitor turned all the way up and the biggest light spell you can throw, it's difficult to distinguish details more than a square or 2 away.
So, are you going to tell people to buy this game?
Sure. There's a lot of stuff to pick on, but there's a lot of good stuff too. And you can forgive a lot since the game is fun to play. The plot's nothing to write home about, but for hacking and slashing, it's hard to beat. Just be sure and watch out for those attack minions, and you'll probably enjoy The Legend of Skullkeep.